Delhi is the most polluted capital city in the world. We're not saying that. It's according to the World Air Quality Report 2023 by Swiss organization IQAir. The national capital has been ranked the most polluted capital city in the world 4 times since 2018. It is estimated that 1.36 billion people in India experience PM 2.5 concentrations exceeding the World Health Organization recommended annual guideline level of 5 micrograms per cubic meter, and 1.33 billion people, 96% of the Indian population, experience PM 2.5 levels more than 7 times the WHO annual PM 2.5 guideline, causing an estimated 1 in every 9 deaths worldwide. Air pollution is the greatest environmental threat to human health. According to the WHO, air pollution is responsible for an estimated 7 million premature deaths worldwide every year. Ila, my colleague, joins me for more inputs. In fact, we also understand she's joining us with Citizen Voices, which is the most effective in terms of finding out what they go through every year. Ila, good afternoon. You know, it's unfortunate that we're talking about a list that the national capital has actually topped, but not in the good sense. Give us a quick sense of how bad it is every year, because we know the concept of smog towers and what should have been done and what hasn't been done happens every year when we see those AQI index. And what are citizens saying as far as this is concerned?
India is the third most populated country in the world. It is only ahead of Pakistan and Bangladesh, and Delhi is the prime city of the pollution here in national capital Delhi. We have witnessed in 2022 the pollution where PM 2.5 was lesser has increased in 2023, and PM 2.5 has reached to 93.7 cubic meter, and it is as harmful as like living in a gas chamber, and it is slightly impacting people's health more and more, and especially according to the experts, it is infants, young children and older citizens who are getting impacted by the pollution. Talking about smog tower, well, we have seen in November Supreme Court has guided that Delhi government should build the smog tower and see that it is working and it is functional. But after that we saw that it was not functional, and after that they tried to run it for a few days, but then it was locked again when the employees of the smog tower at CP went on a protest. And now seeing that, like in 2023 summers as well, we witnessed lots of pollution, not just in winter. So absolutely it is people who are suffering the most, and it is them who are breathing this toxic air. And now it is high time when the government should take necessary step to curb the pollution in Delhi. Over to you.
Ila, as you point that out and also take us through everything that essentially people in the national capital go through, stay with me. I'm going to come back to you in a couple of minutes. Let me take the time out to also introduce our guest this afternoon, Jaidhar Gupta, founder of Nirvana Being. Jaidhar, appreciate you taking the time out and joining us here this afternoon on Mirror Now. In fact, great seeing you again. I'm going to come back to you in just a few minutes. Let me go back to my colleague Ila as she gets us those important details of the ordeal that every citizen has to go through. Ila, as you actually really spoke rightly about what happens every year in terms of the initiatives that's taken, but the implementation is something that we don't see on the ground. But given the fact that this report has also come out, it also talks about volumes of the health issues that every citizen has to face.
Well, absolutely. It is impacting the health of the people, especially children and elderly people. If I talk about them in the winters as well as in the summers also, they feel problem in breathing, and they also feel constant cold and cough, and their lungs is impacted. It is like smoking 10 cigarettes, more than 10 cigarettes daily, on daily basis if someone is living in Delhi NCR. So the symptoms we have seen in the winters were like cold, cough, was problem in breathing. People were avoiding in the morning time to go out. Even the schools were asked to change the timings as well, seeing that how it will impact the kids, and also they were asked to retain from outdoor outdoor play and outdoor activities, so that
Right,
the
Ila.
children should not go outside, so that it should not impact their lungs. And the problem is not in just winters, but it is surprising to see it is also in the summers. It is continuously in Delhi, and people are going through this from years, and there is no solution.
Absolutely, Ila. Appreciate you joining us with all those inputs, telling us what every citizen has to go through. But unfortunately, seasons change, but the story remains the same. So let me take that point across to Mr. Gupta, who continues to stay with us. Mr. Gupta, as far as this entire aspect of not being able to breathe is concerned, in fact, even in the past, we've had the opportunity to connect with you when we're essentially talking about smog towers and why that wasn't implemented the right way. But like my colleague said, seasons change, but the story remains the same. So to actually see these numbers, the list for Delhi to be topping, this is not surprising.
Well, it's not surprising. And, I personally have been talking about this for 10 years now. And I think we all know that, if there's a chronic problem and you don't address a chronic problem, it just leads to more morbidity and mortality. And that's what we're dealing with here. And, the Delhi government, if I talk about them, while the Congress was in power in Punjab, the narrative was that all of this is coming from farm fires in Punjab and it's not a Delhi problem. But now that they're in Punjab, they continue to hide. I mean, it's been 2 years now. There's nobody leading in the Delhi government, and it's really unfortunate that the central government as well continues to shy away and keep away from this problem. It's not a Delhi problem. There are 600 million people at the very least impacted by this, where we're talking about years of life lost of 10 years or more. In Delhi itself, if you're living and breathing in Delhi, we're talking about years of life lost of 12 years. And sorry, frankly, the smog towers are not a solution. You have to attack all these emissions at the source. And if we continue to go with these band-aid fixes of smog towers and odd even, these things are not going to solve the problem. Wherever the sources of combustion are, whether it's the vehicles, whether it's industry, thermal power plants, we need to attack. And of course, the greatest source in India or any poor country is biomass burning. The poor don't have access to LPG gas cylinders. So I think we have a huge opportunity in front of us here with the elections coming up. If we don't, put this and we don't vote for clean air, I think we're looking at another 5 years of this. And it's not just a Delhi problem. Delhi keeps coming up again and again and again because it's the national capital and the topography and where it's, located on the Grand Trunk Road of India with a lot of industry, unviable population kind of density. It's going to remain a chronic problem no matter what, but it needs to be addressed. We need leadership, health, education, sports, all of it. You can't tell children not to go out and play. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't tell people not to go out and, go on morning walks. We have to change behavior. The only way to do that is incentivizing good behavior and penalizing bad behavior. It's been done everywhere in the world. If you look at Paris, if you look at Turkey, if you look at Tehran, you look at Mexico City, you look at Los Angeles, you can look at London, it's been done before. And it can be done in India as well. We just cannot. It's been 10 years that we have been crying for change. And, I can guarantee you, that it's just going to get worse. The path that we're on, our cities, our urban places of, income, livelihoods, unfortunately, our only opportunities are in the urban centers. They are becoming unfit for human habitation. And that's the reality of India, no matter what we say.
As you make those important, significant opening remarks, Mr. Gupta. Of course, there's so much to be learning in terms of course correction that's needed. But a point that I would like to take from what you did state is that, of course, we're talking about Delhi topping these charts, but it's also other cities that have equally gone through this. In fact, also talking about another report that we're continuously tracking here on Mirror now is with the fact that the Bombay High Court has rebuked the Maharashtra government, saying that, just talking about pollution is not enough. Implementation and walking the talk is essential. Do you think these are just solutions that are being given, but implementation clearly is not happening on the ground, which can only make things worse?
Well, the development agenda directly conflicts with the environmental agenda. And that's where we need leadership, right? There needs to be a balance. And we are not looking at that balance right now. And I mean, I've seen Bombay, go down pretty dramatically over the last 5-6 years. And, for some, at least for 2 or 3 months of the year, I mean, Bombay's problem is actually even worse than Delhi. And it's all the unmanaged construction. I mean, you look at the coastal highway, you look at everything that's going on in Mumbai, and we've lost that balance. Mumbai never had an air pollution problem not because people have good habits, but because of the coastal winds. They always disperse this pollution, but not anymore. I mean, we've tipped, in favor of the development agenda. It's human greed, driving everything. And unless there's some leadership that kind of helps balance this out, it doesn't matter if you pursue this development agenda. And, as an entrepreneur, I'm certainly for a development agenda, but I'm also for quality of life. I mean, I have bronchial asthma. I know how much I suffer living in Delhi. I mean, I keep getting away. Even now I'm sitting in Rajasthan because I can't breathe. I'm repeatedly on the nebulizer when I'm in Delhi. And, repeatedly, it's just tough to be a parent. I have 2 children, and one of them plays basketball, so it's an active sport.
Right,
How do you tell a child not to play? How do you tell a child to sit indoors? And what are they going to do if they sit indoors? I mean, that's not living. That's not the life of a child. I mean, that's nowhere to live. I mean, it's not quality of life at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Quality of life is of utmost importance. I agree with you. I'd have to interject you there, but thank you very much for joining us on the show, not only telling us about what the challenges are, but essentially accountability of leadership is probably something that will change, or hoping that citizens can hope for the same. But for the moment, thank you very much for joining us.